Hello and welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Rob Morphy.
Robert, and
Crims.
they're coming to get you, Robert.
Oh,
They're
they are.
coming to get you.
Look, there comes one of them now.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched the black and white version.
Oh, the classic.
This is funny. My zombie experience starts with the remake.
Oh, that's
That's
so
where
funny.
I start.
So the 1990 Tom
like-
Savini directed.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
that's-
that makes sense.
That's
for
where
you.
because everything for me was big box VHS
Of
or
course, the best.
HBO.
Okay.
So having HBO, I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it first, and I fell in love with that movie. And then when I realized, and I'm going to be totally up and front and honest about this, and you might think differently of me. So I'm like, oh, cool, there's a black and white version. This would be kind of fun. And then I watched it and was like, yeah, the remake's way fucking better.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Way goddamn better.
I mean,
I didn't
you were
come,
younger.
I
it
didn't
was in
come around to the
color,
original.
It was gorier. I understand.
I didn't come around to the original until I was in my 20s. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is a goddamn masterpiece.
Oh, it is a
And
masterpiece.
I watch it like, I got my wife watching it with me. Like, we'll put it on to like go to bed.
Right
Because
on.
it's just so much fun.
Oh,
Like-
and it is
No, yeah.
soothing and it's
Yeah.
apocalyptic.
Oh,
Like-
yeah,
Yep,
100%, man. It's a
Comfort.
goddamn masterpiece. So we're talking about zombies, folks.
Yes, we
if you
are.
couldn't tell.
I mean, one of our favorite genres or
Which-
subgenres. I'm not sure how it gets delineated. It's under horror, but I'm not even sure if horror is a genre or a subgenre itself.
You know, I kind
So it
of
could be sub-genre.
I kind
Yeah.
of feel like though that like the era that we're in now is coming out of the big zombie era.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, for a minute there,
The Walking Dead and all sorts of things.
Yeah, The Walking
really
Dead,
made
like-
it a very popular form of artistic expression.
where
Yeah.
it got to the point that where you're like, we get it, zombies, and I love them all.
Sure.
I love all the different zombie movies.
I don't. I
No,
love
yeah,
some
Right. See, I know it's like,
passionately,
Really?
and there's a lot that I find trite, annoying,
Okay.
useless.
yeah, it's
All
not
right.
my favorite horror thing. It never really was.
It
Really?
was when I was a
Zombies.
kid.
No,
100%
I was
was
into
for me.
Okay.
werewolves and vamps way more than I ever was.
The problem
zombies.
I could
with
see that.
werewolves and vamps for me
Yeah.
was, I mean, there was like
Maybe it's just the movies. were
three
s-
great werewolf films when I was young, like The Howling, American Werewolf in London. Maybe only two that I
Yeah.
can think of.
Dog soldiers.
No, but like Silver Bullet.
Dog Soldiers didn't come out until the 90s. I
That's
was
true.
an adult at that point.
Yeah.
So
I enjoy Silver Bullet.
I gotta say, I started with the original. I was 11 years old, and it was really awesome. I had a neighbor across the street, and I would kind of watch their kid play. Their kid was like 3 years old, and I was like, at that point, I was like 11, and so I would like hang out and watch the kid a little bit. And he was the first guy I knew. He was like a tech junkie, had all sorts of equipment, sound equipment, movie equipment, surround sound, like just nuts. And he would like, buy VHS and then also dub VHS.
Oh yeah,
tape
with
to
the,
tape.
with the, like the old school setups.
So
Yeah.
I told him that that I thought I wanted to be a filmmaker when I grew up. And as a kid, I really wanted to direct movies. They ended up making the kind of movies I wanted to see, so I didn't have to do that anymore. But when I was a
Sure.
kid, they never were really, except for rare exceptions. So he sat me down. He goes, "You got to watch this." He goes, "This is a movie made in Pittsburgh by a guy and a bunch of his friends, and they moved into this old farmhouse and they shot it all for like no money." Now, that was a paraphrasing, not exactly accurate. They were all professional commercial filmmakers: George Romero,
Yeah,
John
100%.
Russo, Russell Steiner, and all those people. And they came every weekend to this abandoned farmhouse to film the zombie film. But I watched it, and I kept thinking to myself, this guy, it was scary. It was black and white. So even as a kid, I was a little like, black and white was not my favorite because
Right.
we're
Yeah.
born
No,
in the
same,
color era.
obviously.
But I got so invested in it, and I just realized friends can make movies if they just have access to camera. And back then,
yeah.
you're lucky if you had access to a Super 8. VHS cameras weren't even really available that much at that time. And so that changed my life. And what happened was funny. 6 months later, I was 12 years old. It was Christmas Eve. I'm at a family function. Obviously, it's Christmas Eve and I'm 12. But then I get a call. He goes, "I just got it in. You got to come over. Tell your parents, can you come over?" And so I was like, "Can I go over and check it out?" This is like 11:50 p.m.
yeah.
So I ran across the street.
Coolest neighbor ever.
And he was like my mentor for fucking cinema, 100%. Like
That's
told me
awesome.
about all the midnight movies, like going to see Pink Flamingos when he was in college. Like
Mhm.
he was my first crash course in cult cinema. And he put it in Dawn of the Dead. And I watched it with him and his wife.
Oh, dude.
And it was Christmas Eve. And I was just floored. The day glow blood, the blue-green color on the skin, none of that bothered me. To me, it was the most devastatingly apocalyptic movie experience of my life.
That's funny because Dawn of the Dead out of the Night, Dawn and Day series, like the Dawn of the Dead is my favorite one.
It's my favorite
That's
too.
the one that
I call it a trilogy. Land of the Dead can go fuck off.
I wasn't able to actually. I don't think I watched that until like Video King was around. So like West Side Video, I skipped it, and then I eventually was at Video King, and I got it. I'm like, holy shit. This is my fucking zombie movie.
There is nothing more harrowing.
No.
I mean, starting off with the SWAT team assaulting the tenement building where they're preserving the corpses in the basement in the hopes that they can save their family members.
Dude.
Which is absolutely... That fucking shot of that room. And it was definitely a parable about refugees and illegal immigration, all sorts of things. Because George Romero always worked with themes, but with the room is full of dead people, and there was that one that was wrapped in a sheet with the rope tied around its neck, and all you saw was the white sheet, and it suddenly sat up, and I think it was Ken Foray. Shot it, and you just saw the blood explosion, and it slumped back, and I was like, I mean, I think it was traumatic for me, actually. Because when I walked home that night, I sprinted across the street, hoping to avoid a fucking zombie attack. But, you know, it's like all kid horror fans. You are both terrified and you love every bit of the experience.
Oh, yeah.
But even though, you know, it doesn't necessarily hold up, and certainly if you watched it fresh right now and you were a 20-something, it wouldn't have the same effect, to be sure.
No, yeah.
To me, it is the most truly devastating apocalypse. Like, the world seemed like it was literally unraveling. And no movie, I think, has captured that better.
That's the one zombie movie that I told Charlie, I'm like, this is a trilogy, but just start with this.
Right.
Like, you and I are going to watch this, and he was enthralled.
Oh, great.
And, I mean, this was last year when he was he was 14.
You got to start him young.
And he was blown away by it. And he was just like, oh my God, is this really? Like, he tried watching The Walking Dead. Not that The Walking Dead's bad.
No, the first season was great.
It had a bunch of good seasons,
and then,
but he's like, dude, this is like, and then we eventually watched all of them, and he came to love, just like his dad, the remake of The Night of the Living Dead.
You know what? I was less charmed by it because I had been raised. So I was a teenager when that came out. That was okay. But the zombies that really excited me were the much maligned bastard children that were given birth to in Europe after the success of Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, the conquistadors.
It was just a whole mess of things, but most importantly, it was Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2, a.k.a. sometimes they pronounce it Fulci.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's Fulci.
It's Fulci. Yeah. Okay, Lucio Fulci. But released in the States as Zombie. It was an unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead was released in Europe. Dario Argento, the producer and famed Italian filmmaker, he called it Zombie when he released it in Europe. So this was called Zombie 2 to capitalize on it. But as much as, you know, I was so dedicated to the filmmaker George Romero and his independent spirit, and I fucking loved it. I've always loved independent filmmakers like John Waters, people that just do it, you know, from scratch by their bootstraps.
Yeah.
But so I was a little anti Fulci at first, but when I watch it, it's actually a scarier movie. The effects are 1,000 times better.
It's so
like
good.
The gore,
done
the
so
zombies
well.
themselves are just a nightmare of rotting flesh.
Yeah,
and it goes back to like the Haitian Caribbean roots, and it takes these beautiful tropical locations and turns them into like nightmare hellscapes of like dust devils and fucking the undead.
It is the first movie where we get to see a zombie versus a shark.
True, and that's probably the cheesiest part of the movie.
It's awesome,
but it's awesome.
Dude,
I
it's
agree.
awesome.
Yeah.
But it's this. I gotta say, it's the Splinter scene.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to reveal too much. There is a Splinter scene that will have you squirming for literally months after you watch it.
Before I even watched Zombie, the OG one, I watched Zombie 3 first, and
that was a Filipino masterpiece.
Zombie 3 fucking rules.
Co-directed by Fulci, who had to leave because of health reasons, and that was picked up by Bruno Mattei.
I'm like, what? You mean to tell me all the zombies are ninjas and
all
they jump out of trees and they go when they come down? And
they make the bionic sound. Of course
they
do.
It fucking blew my tits off.
It's so fun,
as it should,
because that was a response,
as it was meant to.
Because these things were in canisters, to the phenomenal success of 85, maybe 84's Return of the Living Dead,
dude,
which changed the fucking game.
100%,
dude.
Like, that came out the same year as Day of the Dead, and Day of the Dead was a fine good, gory, fun movie, a classic.
Tarman rules.
I love it. But
Oh my
Return of
God.
the Living Dead blasted it out of the box office, and it is literally one of, I think, the greatest movies ever made. It's a
Yeah,
it's
I
a
could see
punk
that.
rock
No,
movie.
yeah, I mean,
It's
it
a
kinda
perfect
is.
It is,
ensemble
yeah.
movie. It is the perfect horror comedy in that
Yeah.
it is genuinely scary and genuinely funny. But most importantly, it did something I had never seen in horror films, which was it made the characters act like real people. Like when Bert Gulager is calling the military, he's not telling them on the phone that it's zombies, because that's absurd. He's like, it's a disease. It's like rabies, only much
Yeah.
faster.
No, yeah,
and you got to
yeah.
come and you got to get them. And,
Yep.
and it has all of these moments of people acting like real people, self-serving until finally they realize they have to be altruistic to get through it. And worse yet, the zombies can't be destroyed. They
Yeah.
take the mythology of Night of the Living Dead, because this is an unofficial but still official sequel to Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
Because John
100%.
Russo kept the Living Dead phrase from Night of the Living Dead, because he co-wrote it with George Romero, and Romero kept the day, night,
Yeah.
dawn,
Mhm.
twilight,
Yeah.
moniker. And so they took his script, threw it out the fucking window. It's a terrible fucking script, by the way. No offense. I like John Russo. We met him a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
We met him
We
and
talked-
interviewed him
yeah.
at a
He's a-
conference.
he's a nice
He's a
dude.
good guy. And he wrote a great book about making movies, which I recommend to any young filmmaker, even though it's a little dated. But that aside, Dan O'Bannon, the creator of the Alien franchise, who wrote that movie, wrote the script, and it was his first film. He only directed 2 films. And it was fucking it was just such a refreshing, fast-paced, purely exploitative, but all the characters were smart and they all did the right thing and still got fucked. And that to me is a hallmark of a true horror film.
Love the ending.
You do the right
the
thing
ending
and
is
you still get
so-
fucked.
They're like, all
Yeah.
right, drop the bomb.
Right.
It's punk as fuck.
Right. And it doesn't, there's not that kind of, it's not trying to be this drama thing. So like the thing sucks, but you're not really hurt.
Right.
You just
Right.
you had a fun time.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you're just like,
You're just like,
It
whoa.
was
Yeah.
it was a fun romp. No, for sure.
no,
Christopher,
that's the deal.
where do you stand with zombie movies?
No, that's probably like I said. It's one of my least favorite. I just didn't watch a lot of. I think
It's
like
funny that like the classics didn't hit you in
no,
that way.
I think zombies just don't hit me in
Okay.
a way that like single severe things are very scary to me. Like group things aren't.
Oh, see, I think conversely, and
could
on
see
like
that,
like
though.
it's a living virus with all teeth and nails and everything's infectious, and you. Now the good thing about old zombie films, and I'm not trying to step on what you're saying here,
No,
is the Romero zombie films. You always had to play the game in your head, like where would my escape be? How could, because they weren't that
Oh, I mean,
fast,
I
they weren't that
think about
dangerous,
that all the time. Even
and
now.
you could fucking do it.
Not
They-
because of zombies, just murders and stuff.
oh,
Like,
absolutely.
if I'm in a building, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, if someone came in, like,
Oh my God,
can I
it's
jump
funny.
that and make that? Like,
I do. I used to do it all the
it's
time.
insane.
Can I parkour myself? to
Now, of
safety?
course, in a post 28 Days Later, which was a great film. I don't consider it a zombie film, but it's a great film.
No, I mean it is.
It is. It
That's still
is.
one that's in
has
my
the-
list
all
of some
the
of the
evil
best
I'm
marks.
ones.
really stoked for the new one.
But me
Yeah,
too.
I did like
The
that
new
movie.
one
But the
looks good.
Speedy Zombies ruined the calculation. Because before, if you were smart
No.
enough, if you played it safe,
Yeah,
if you did the right things, you could survive. With the Speedy Zombies, you're fucked. You're just fucked. You're plain old fucked.
I think my brain just is not partitioned into think that even like to me one werewolf is still scarier than a horde of the Speedy Zombies.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
It
fair.
ju-
werewolves
just
scare-
fucking
You know,
is.
it's fine. I love werewolves.
just
too.
maybe just
I could
that's
see
because that's
that.
where it just fucking hit. But then again, like one of the first things I mean, it is a zombie movie, but like Evil Dead.
Of course.
That and Evil Dead. That's
Which
like
is
one
a
of the
whole
first.
different
Oh, for
Right,
style.
but it's like it's fast and sharp.
Oh yeah.
And so in my mind, going like trying, because I saw I saw those movies well after Evil Dead for sure, because I wasn't searching out those movies.
Right.
So when you go back a bit and you see those, except Return of the Living Dead, it's not an example because I still love that movie.
Sure.
But all the slower zombies, I'm just, I think it's just because the order of events just happened in a way that my brain did not kind of give a shit about the slower. I appreciated them later, way later on.
Sure.
Right.
And I went back. For sure, but like the Evil Dead is one of the first. I still
Well,
love Evil Dead. It will
The first Evil Dead is
same
one of the
movie,
most brutal
but
independent films
It's great.
ever made.
Yeah, and the Deadites are fucking awesome. Dude.
And they
They're
did
so
A
cool.
brilliant thing, I think, with Evil Dead 2, which is remake it with more money, and it is basically, it's Grand Guignol, whatever they call it, like that explosive blood, but it's a Chuck Jones cartoon mixed with fucking, I don't know, like John Carpenter in his prime terror. It's fucking scary.
yes.
It is dynamic.
I love it.
It never stops. Like, when I got older and I watched Hong Kong movies, I realized like the delirium that cinema could be.
Yeah.
But for American cinema, Sam Raimi, not only was he the fucking one of the first, but he blew everyone's mind so much that, you know, Choi Harkin in Hong Kong ended up making the Chinese ghost stories in an homage style to the Evil Dead movies.
Yep.
Which goes to show you how absolutely influential. I mean,
Yeah, it's
now
crazy.
he deserves to have the career he's had, and I'm glad he's as famous as he is and making such a good living because he came right from the heart and he made crazy shit. And those independent filmmakers that come up, we heard the sound.
Did you guys hear that?
It's been going on for like 10 seconds.
Is
I'm
it
like,
really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Huh? Are you guys,
I don't know if it's coming from there.
this is
or
like-
that.
we're on YouTube. Could this be a paranormal summoning?
I highly
I
doubt
think
it.
it's some shit out there, but it sounds
Quite
like
possibly.
So the independent filmmakers that made good like Sam Raimi, but also, and this brings me to another zombie maven who I love,
Oh.
Peter fucking Jackson.
Oh, dude.
Dead
yes,
Alive.
man.
Dead Alive
Dead
is
Alive.
literally
Holy shit.
Madness.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so
It's
fast,
so
so gory,
good,
so
dude.
intense.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was almost too much when I first saw it. I was like, "Holy shit, man! Hit the brakes
Yeah,
a
like,
little."
what are you doing?
But
Dude.
but yeah, obviously now I love it unabashedly.
Oh,
Unabashedly.
yeah. Yeah.
And he was always silly and over the top, like it's a fucking weird Sumatran rat monkey that bites somebody and
Yes,
starts
dude.
the zombie. And he's trying to keep the zombies stuck in his house
Yes.
with his terrible, overbearing mom while he has a burgeoning love interest just outside.
in this, like, it's
Yeah.
funny because this, like VHS covers we talked about a while back.
Big VHS are the best.
This VHS cover specifically, I can remember being in Video King, and remember Video King had the cool haunted section.
Of course,
When you go back-
literally a haunted house
Yes.
with like black light room inside.
And I can remember this being right when you turn the corner and you walk, and it was right on the corner, and I'm like, what is this? And I made my parents get it for me, and then I made everybody watch it. And they're like, this is terrible. I'm like, you don't appreciate art,
Wow.
cinema, and one day this
Art.
guy's gonna make the fucking Lord of the Rings movies.
It's going to win
On all
Academy
that
Awards, and you
yeah,
don't even know.
Remember how the Led Zeppelin talked about it? Well, guess what, motherfuckers? They're gonna make a movie, and there's gonna be
Oh.
elves and Helm's Deep, and it's gonna be fucking sweet. And then there's gonna be other ones.
I'm going to have a friend. We're going to hold hands in the theater,
Yeah.
sweating because it's the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Dude, that was a change in my life. Was watching Helm's Deep with Chris, and we're just like, holy.
That movie was so
fuck.
fucking
Like,
stressful.
oh my god, dude, it's out of control.
Yeah,
It's
there's
so
very few
much.
movies that like made you like your
Yeah.
your hands are clammy.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
Dude.
like Civil War was one. I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do in this movie? Because I know what the comics are going to do.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just
oh,
like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
god, what are they going to do?
That we have a whole
Helm's Deep
Marvel
was
thing we
definitely
gotta
one.
do at some point.
100%.
Well, actually, speaking of that, one of the movies that had my palms all sweaty and I was just totally from the goddamn jump of this movie. I'm like, this thing is a panic attack. Is the Dawn of the Dead remake by Zack Snyder?
Love it,
Fantastic.
Dude,
James Gunn
that's
wrote
up
it.
there.
I had Charlie watch that. And I'm like, dude,
They were speedy zombies, and it
Watch
worked
this.
Still one of the best.
dude,
perfectly.
it was so hyperkinetic.
Oh, it was.
And it was just from the minute that she goes to bed
Yeah,
and she gets up and
It
the
is
girl,
not, and she's right in the hallway.
dude, it is just bonkers.
Yeah.
I
Non-stop.
I can remember like, oh, speedy zombies. Nah. I'm like, dude, this works.
No, and
Yeah,
that
it's
one,
amazing.
this
100%
works
worked.
so
And it's
well.
so, without giving away any endings, it's so nihilistic.
Oh, dude, especially at the
man,
very
that shot,
end.
that just one
Oh yeah.
camera is just still and
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking, you're right.
And
It's
they
haunting.
Yeah.
and they have a callback to Folky in that too. In the very end, when you get to the island, you're like, "Oh
Yep.
no,
Yeah.
dude, it was such a good."
Oh, no, it was such a, our buddy Mike D took me to see it because,
ghosts.
yep, Ghost knocking
Ghost.
bourbon
Ghost.
the bourbon.
Ghost of Bourbon.
And he's like, you're going to want to see it. Now, of course, it's a remake of one of my favorite films. And I'm ready. I don't know who James Gunn is. Zack Snyder's fine. I'm ready to fucking hate it. And as soon as it started, I'm like, oh, fuck, no, I'm in. I'm 100%
Yeah, I get-
in.
dude.
Is that what?
It's one of the greatest remakes. It,
No,
it's
it's-
right
it's
up there with John
fantastic.
Carpenter's The
Absolutely.
Thing and everything.
100%,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I mean, that is such
Yep.
a great movie, and I want to say that maybe that's what kickstarted the whole renaissance for the zombies.
Oh, I think it did.
I mean, 'cause
Oh yeah,
the
that was
do-
one of the earliest.
Like, The Walking Dead. I mean, obviously being a phenomenal comic book series, which I wish I would have held on to all those goddamn issues, but I didn't. I only got a couple of them left. That series obviously kicked the whole fucking thing off.
Oh, sure.
But I mean,
It made it mainstream.
it did. and-
Zombies were cult for
and-
the longest time.
But what's cool
Then they
about
became
that is you got
mainstream.
Yeah.
a bunch of movies built around that, and a bunch of movies are like, oh, we're gonna do zombie movies again, and
Sure.
they got fun again.
Once upon a
Also
time,
got stupid, but they got fun again.
I could honestly say, literally honestly say, I had seen every zombie film made. from like the Zombies of Moritao to White
Oh, yeah.
Zombie to all of them.
Hmm.
They were the fucking Plague of the Zombies from Hammer. That was in the 80s. That is long. I was a kid.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what I'd
Yeah.
actually do with video, I
Through
would
the-
because there's so many independent ones because it's such a cheap kind to make.
Oh yeah.
There's probably brilliant ones that I'll never see, but I have to go back to the Cheap Jack because it wasn't just Lucio Fulci. It was what was his name? There's Amanda Osorio's fucking Blind Dead series,
The Blind Dead
which were a
series
paranormal. They were Knights
rules,
Templar
Dude, it was awesome.
who were truly satanic, who had their eyes burned out with like
Yes.
hot pokers.
Yeah, I didn't see those.
And
They're
they,
really
they
good.
died and whatever. And then I guess a couple gets into a fight on a train, and she jumps off the train angrily.
yeah,
to go nowhere,
It's such a good
and it
movie.
spirals
though.
out
It's
to the
so-
small
so much
town.
fun.
So these guys, these dead monks, come back and they ride skeletal horses,
Dude, it's
and they're
really
just
good.
skeletons in like hoods and monastic robes.
Shit,
But because their eyes were burned out, fuck logic, by the way, none of it makes sense. They're
it,
fucking dead.
it doesn't matter. at this
Because their
point.
eyes are
Damned.
burned out, they can't see. They listen for your heartbeat, and that's how they track you.
Dude, it's such.
Tombs of the
Yeah.
Blind Dead,
So
and
fun.
most of its sequels. Its
What
first
is,
sequel are
um,
great.
I watched one recently. Was it like Train to Busan or something like that?
Oh, that was a South Korean one. That was
Yeah,
really
dude. The South
intense.
Korean zombie shit is
That was almost too
off
much.
the fucking chain,
It
dude.
was
Yeah.
really fun. Though.
It's like one of the it's like hyperkinetic where
Yeah.
you're like, this shit is
No,
got
the
me.
Asian stuff is, but it started coming correct. Especially some of that Hong Kong, even some of the Shaw Brothers movies.
oh
Oh,
that
yeah.
were just
Oh,
like
like-
Black Magic-y
yeah,
zombies.
seeding
Yeah.
of a
Did
ghost.
we ever watch
and-
Black Magic? Did we watch those
I
movies?
thought we did. I don't know for sure.
Hmm.
I think we
I feel
did.
like we did at least one
Like the
of them.
spike in the head
one-
made the girl come back to life as a zombie.
Hmm.
They were like hyper gory, super kinetic.
yeah.
Like Devil's Fetus. We're going off into a territory. We'll save that for international horror films.
Devil's Fetus.
But going back again to the 80s, you can't ignore Burial Ground.
oh,
No,
yeah,
that-
yeah,
yeah.
Burial Ground's great,
Small cast,
dude.
the crumbling mansion, the Etruscans. I almost said it wrong. Etruscans.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Sean Connery.
Etruscans.
The Etruscans, fuck.
Etruscans.
Yeah. The pre-Italians come back from the dead, and they kill a professor, and then they just kill all these people holidaying in this shitty old mansion
Mhm.
with weapons, and it's sort of crappy, but it's just borderline crap. When they rebroadcast this, I don't know, a few years ago, 10 years maybe now, at the drive-ins, when they had like this all-night horror
Oh
marathon.
shit, that's what they did. Yeah.
And Burial Ground they had like Food of the Gods, another fun one, but they had Burial Ground, and I'd only seen it on VHS when I was a kid, and there's weird scenes, there's like incestuous undertones and like literal literal tit biting done by a little person
Yeah,
who's
it was
playing a child.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
And
super
it's
weird.
very awkward.
It's gonna go right past
It's
it.
part of the fun. Like when it happened at the drive-ins, everyone was honking and shouting his name. And I saw Melissa there, your ex and still
Yep.
good buddy,
Yep.
and she was there having a great time, and we were loving it. So anyway, that was a fantastic one. But the big box VHS from West Side Video,
I'm looking at it right now.
So
dude.
haunting.
Oh my god, I love this.
Nightmare
goddamn
City,
cover. Holy
aka
shit.
what was the other title that's on the box? I think.
It's just the regular Burial Ground. I'm looking.
Oh
at the
no, not
regular-
Burial Ground. It was
Oh.
the upside down girl with the eye gouged out, and she's naked, and there's a nipple on the box cover, and I think it was an old Wizard cover. Nightmare City, aka City of the Living Dead. I think it was
Oh
called
yes,
that.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Umberto
I remember
Lenzi
that cover.
directed it. Again,
Do I have that soundtrack? I think I do.
maybe
I
zombie.
don't think I've seen that one.
and that
but-
it's just people that get irradiated and start decaying, and they just go on a
yes.
crazy rampage.
Yes.
So it's still technically.
Oh yes, no, Nightmare City.
Dude,
fucking
any
rules,
like
dude.
between
Hugo
like
Stiglitz is in it.
Yes. Yep.
like 83 and like I don't know, even in the 90s, like it was zombies. It wasn't just like a group and then like a siege movie. There was weird in between
Yeah.
movies.
Oh, absolutely. Like Night of the Comet.
Night of the fucking Comet,
Yeah,
which
is
has got
one.
3 sort of zombies and no real gore. I mean, I love the film. It's like an 80s
No,
paradise.
it's I've got
It's
a soft
so
spot.
fun.
It might not be good. I don't know. but-
it is and it isn't. It's disappointing as a zombie film. It's highly entertaining for an 80s
No, yeah.
movie junkie.
And
You know-
and then they
Huh.
started bringing like other like
Ooh, it's in stock.
spacey elements or just like Night of the Creeps
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a
Like,
treasure.
Dude, 100%.
in my top 5
Completely.
dude,
for sure.
So good.
But it's I mean it's not traditional.
No, it's like a 1950s movie
but
with
it is,
meteors and
right?
space slugs and
It's so fucking good.
zombies and a hard-nosed detective.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's comfort food for me.
Yeah,
Night
and
of
they
the
started in this one. Was it like the video dead?
Oh yeah.
Remember the fucking
Where it was coming out of
a
the TV
a
screen?
TV gets shipped to fucking somewhere. For fucking,
and it's like no budget, and you plug it in.
no,
and,
it's like all
and
fun.
then like the zombies start crawling from the
yeah,
broken screen.
it's like they're on TV, but then they come out of the TV.
They come out of the TV, and then they're in the woods and in the
Oh
house.
my God.
yeah,
I-
then it becomes like Rambo. Like they're in the
Yeah.
woods.
Oh, yeah.
But then
and
people
they're like some old big cowboy hat wearing
yeah.
text
Some guy that's
guy
yeah,
shows it.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
that's all I
he
remember.
tracks the zombies
Yeah.
from wherever the TV gets shipped. The zombies come, and you can tell like amateur actors, zero budget. The zombie makeup was pretty good, and in the end, it has this creepy nightmare flavor because it's so cheap and so weird and so authentic that it actually sort of feels almost too real. It sucks, but it's a kind of
No,
bad
it
movie
sucks.
you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of
Like,
remember this, but I'm gonna have to track
that's
this down.
vaguely, but like there's years where like
Oh,
those
sure.
are the kinds of movies I lean towards because it had the Ghostbusters fucking lightning like
Right,
the
right.
TV.
Of course.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it just
it had the optical
like,
effects.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that I
Well, don't forget Dead Pit, which had the
don't know if I
greatest
saw Dead
VHS, excuse me, box in
VHS.
history. VHS. It like a 3D of a zombie, and when you pressed its gut, its eyes blinked green.
Oh,
Oh,
come on.
yes.
Movie blue. Box cover
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I remember talking about
Shit.
this. Yeah, no, I'm looking at the VHS cover right now. I used to love interactive VHS covers. God,
Oh,
damn, it, they
yeah.
were so cool.
so chintzy, but
Right.
so awesome.
Son
And
of
I
a
guess I have to
bitch.
go back to the Fulci well one more time with there's a couple more, but he definitely stayed on the supernatural track with Gates of Hell, aka
Oh, for sure,
City of the Walking Dead,
definitely. Yeah,
which is not to be confused with City of the Living Dead, which is
Right.
yeah.
Umberto Lenzi's
Some just
film.
live,
Gates
some
of Hell
walk.
fucking rule.
And it's like very not Lovecraft. I guess it is Lovecraftian in a sense. I mean, hell,
The whole-
they
the whole-
set the town in Dunwich.
The whole
Yeah.
trilogy is
Yeah.
There's a whole trilogy that they did of those.
Well, there's House by the Cemetery, which has
Hold on.
a zombie, Dr. fucking Franken something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
And a giant bat and
Wait a
a
minute.
weird ghost girl. It's
City-
a fucked up movie.
So it's City of the Living Dead, House by the Cemetery, and then The Beyond is all
Yeah.
considered the
Oh,
trilogy.
the Beyond.
The Beyond is almost too much. It's like an art film to me. Like he nailed the surreality and the barely touching on reality in Gates of Hell, where all these characters are slipping in and out, and zombies can appear and disappear, and
Mhm.
maggots are raining from the fucking ceiling for no reason, and the screen cracks at the end, like it shatters, all because the film broke and he decided it would be a better thing to do. The Beyond, though, is just vignettes of tarantulas crawling, zombies moaning, zombies moving. Like, it's considered his masterpiece, and I have the box set with the tin and the whole
Yeah, I
9
don't
yards.
think I ever saw that one.
But I mean, I know somebody out there is screaming at me right now, but I just think it's a little overrated.
No, I liked it. I mean,
I
it was-
want context, you know? You
Yeah,
gotta have
no,
you
yeah,
gotta hang your
I-
hat on something.
that whole
Yeah.
but that whole Gates of Hell trilogy is awesome.
Oh, sure.
Well, how they all tie together and show like the gate of hell is being open. It's another gate. Oh no! And then there's Western Town, or not a Western Town, but
Yeah. Like,
in
Westworld.
in the beginning of the fucking in the beginning of the Beyond, where you're like, wait, we're going old timey, what? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this about? Like, it's such a good movie, though. I asked a buddy at work, I just turned him on to it. I'm like, dude, you gotta watch this movie. He's like, holy shit, that was fucking unbelievable.
speaking of like cheddar-tastic pure joy, take us back to the 1960s. I think it's 1968. Ted V. Michaels' Astro Zombies. Not only did it influence the
Oh.
fucking Misfits,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's another
dude.
one that's not. It's like two or
Two
three
zombies.
of them.
Yeah.
they have these cool skull
You can
masks.
clearly see the.
They're
fucking
basically
mask.
reanimated
100%.
corpses that were
So bad.
supposed to be automatons
Yeah,
that
they
could
were
survive in
Franken.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But when their fucking power cells died, you remember any electricity would help
they
it?
had to.
They'd take a
stab
flashlight.
thing. Yeah, and-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and put it up in their grill, and it had Tura Satana from Faster Pussycat, and
Yeah.
and she was fantastic as like this evil dragon lady, female, evil agent.
Yeah, there was a team that were against trying to get the tech.
Yeah, there was like
From the-
American
doctor-
FBI type good guys. The doctor played by John Carradine.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah.
he had a hunchback assistant that was randomly whipping bikini
Well,
clad girls
of
on
course,
a table.
yeah. There's always that one girl that I feel just tied there, like the whole movie.
Always. Just
I
there.
feel like they were doing,
You feel so
giving her
bad.
shots. Or, I don't know what the fuck they
I
were
know
doing.
she really wanted the part. They gave it to her. But fucking, this movie is sprawling and idiotic. And I own books about the making of it. I own at least 3 books on Ted V. Michaels because I'm fascinated by, again, these low budget auteurs that are most people consider terrible.
Right. That's again.
but
That's
just
one like
did it themselves.
if I saw that when I was if I saw that right after Evil Dead, I would have been like, this is fucking trash.
Trash completely.
I didn't. I saw that probably in my late 20s, early 30s. I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
It's camp
terrible,
perfection.
except I love it.
Yeah, if you see it when you're very young,
Dude,
it might affect you. When you see it when you're a teenager, you think it's garbage. And then when you can appreciate high camp and just garbage cinema for its own sake.
They didn't even, there's no second takes in that movie.
Oh, no.
I remember there's like, they're fighting in
Things
a
would go
room.
long.
And one of the zombies comes in and he's fighting the guy. And he's just trying to get under a thing that fell. And you can just see the mask is half off. And then he gets under there. He's like holding the mask on. And that was the end of the scene. I'm like, oh my God, this movie's fucking gold.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
All of his films are like that.
That's awesome.
Ray Dennis Steckler's Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies, the only zombie musical that I know of. And another staggering piece of shit that I saw when I was a teenager and judged harshly, and I saw as an older cult film lover and cherished every rotten moment. There are so many. We could literally go on forever, but
yeah.
And maybe we'll revisit it someday. I mean, it's just too many. But that's
there's so much zombie
the key.
talk,
The key for
sure.
me was Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue too. That was one of the few pre Dawn of the Dead European zombie films where it was like the sonic sound that they were using on this truck to kill bugs and crops, but somehow the sound was reanimating the dead.
Oh.
And it has really haunting images, really cool zombies, a little bit of gore. It was like the coolest zombie movie to come out between Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. But after Dawn of the Dead, it was a real fucking deluge of European zombies, Hong Kong zombies, and then American zombies. And then, of course, that trend continued in 1985, where, and I can't believe we didn't mention this, Reanimator, fucking Return of the Living Dead, and Day of the Dead were all released, I think, the same year.
Yep.
And Reanimator, considered medical, based on Lovecraft.
Yeah, Reanimator rules.
A limited amount of zombies, but super gory, super funny.
Oh, dude.
No,
Arch camp, but not ever mocking itself.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No,
studios, I think, just figured like zombies, I guess, are cool, but we need a different angle.
Yeah.
To kind of insert, and sometimes it was sci-fi-y, sometimes it was science-y, sometimes it's fucking aliens. But
the sciencey one was always cool.
Oh yeah, back in the day with Fred Olin Ray when he made the Alien Dead in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just garbage backwoods Florida bullshit. It's just people on a pontoon boat allegedly hit by a meteor, fall into the swamp water and become swamp zombies that you can barely see because it's the darkest fucking movie this side of humongous. It is impossible to watch.
Do you remember that Australian movie? It was a zombie movie like the early aughts.
Oh, was there a giant wall and that crazy outback guy?
The Undead.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Dude, that was great.
That was actually really fun.
And the whole aliens happen, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
out of the blue.
Cool.
It was an alien invasion movie at first, right?
Yeah, and when that turns into a zombie, you're like, wait, what? And they nailed it, dude. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I remember it being a lot of fun.
That was like one of my last purchases at like Media Play.
Yeah.
All right.
I know. One of my last purchases at Media Play was Stacy, one of those shot on VHS,
dude,
Japanese horror films.
I mean, everyone, they were called Stacy's, right?
Yeah.
This is when you became a Stacy.
Yeah, you became a Stacy. It's so like the first victim became a Stacy. So when girls turn 15 or something, I'm just sort of pulling it out of my ass here.
Yeah,
they all girls tend to die like the original one, Stacy.
Yeah.
And they become zombie girls.
Yeah.
And then they have the Romero cleanup crews, like a very broad homage, and they come and pick up the corpses. And it's really well shot. It's just shot on VHS. But the Japanese were fully cool with cold, shitty VHS for a lot of the 80s and 90s.
Oh, no, it was
so, I mean, it always repulsed me, and thank God for the digital revolution. But the Stacy's movie was actually, I think that's something that could be a really interesting remake. Like, girls just die at this certain age, and they become Stacy's.
Yeah.
And you have to live in a world where your daughters, your fucking sisters, your girlfriends, whoever reach a certain age. And it was done a little tongue-in-cheek and a little over the top with the gore, but it could be a really powerful film.
No.
Dude.
Yeah.
Japanese love it.
While we're there, Wild Zero.
Oh, my God. How could I forget? Like last time I watched it, when you and I watched it, it was great. Oh, my God. Because it was like what Rock and Roll High School is to zombie films, in that the Ramones played a band that is a real band, and they were featured all throughout the film. And Guitar Wolf was a band, or like a rockabilly sort of Ramones-influenced band. And they were in the movie and played themselves.
Yep.
And there were zombies, and there were aliens. It was very Plan 9.
Yeah, it was crazy.
There was a love story, and it was just madness.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun. Wild Zero.
Nice. All right, man. Well, there it is.
Lots of zombie films.
Cryptonaut Podcast, Zombies Ahoy. They're coming to get you. Thanks for checking it out. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, upvote, leave your comment. Let us know your favorite zombie movies.
Yeah.
Give us
Yeah.
your breakdown in the comments. We want to see what you guys think. And yeah, the best part about this now, I know streaming is a thing, but you can literally dive into all these for like
Oh, yeah.
next.
They're
to
all
nothing.
probably available
They're
somewhere.
all
Sure.
yeah, dude. You can get
I
all
mean,
of this
even if
stuff.
you got to pay a couple bucks,
It's readily available, dude. Check out Tubi. They have
Sure.
so much stuff.
check out
there.
YouTube. You never
YouTube,
know when
yeah,
something
YouTube
comes
always
through.
has stuff.
You know what?
too.
Daily Motion has a lot of it for free in
Oh, do they?
parts.
Really? Daily
Oh, that's
Motion.
interesting.
Okay, I'll have to check Daily Motion out. I've been hitting up
Yeah.
Tubi hard. Tubi selections. been
Yeah.
really
Oh, I
good.
know. I don't love the commercials, but you can't fault the selection.
Oh no, dude!
It's fantastic.
I will gladly sit through the commercials
Sure.
to watch that stuff streaming.
Oh
So-
yeah, and uncut too.
Oh, dude, 100%, 100%. So there's thank you all so very much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, peace out, dude. Night of the Zombies.
Mhm. Oh, Hell of the Living Dead,
Oh,
Night of
yeah,
the
dude.
Zombies.
Night of the-
That's
God,
another.
We talked about
Italian-
zombies for like years. We
Oh
just call
my
them
God,
zombies.
because the box cover, the VHS box
said-
Yeah.
cover, just said Night of the Zombies,
Dude,
and I'm pretty sure it was Hell of the Living Dead.
I think it was.
And it was just about a SWAT team that goes to Papua New Guinea because there's a fucking leak in a fucking, I don't know, like a toxic chemical factory. Why Europeans would build one in Papua New Guinea, I don't know. And
Yeah,
of course,
weird.
they used like stock footage of like animals that do not live there and all sorts of shit. And there's a reporter
do
and a
not live
crack
there.
SWAT team, and they are just
of the
confronted by
zombies.
some of the worst / best zombies I've ever seen.
that's
Also, Bruno Mattei, who co-directed Zombie 3.
Yep.
And it's just a master of garbage cinema.
Dude, I
like,
love
it's bad.
yeah, absolutely bad.
All right, well,
Yeah.
check
All right,
that
yeah.
one out.
So check
All right.
that one out too. I love that movie.
All right.
Zombies.
See ya.
Zombies.